If you have the financial positioning and the deposits to do so, this could be one of the greatest times in history, or at least in this lifetime, to exercise and flex your power over banks and credit unions. Right now, banks and credit unions are in a very peculiar situation where the economy is facing a ton of downward pressure. Banks are being squeezed in the middle of that pressure and are in a situation where they value deposits and value valuable customers more than they have in a very long time. This is going to be something that you can leverage to your advantage if you have the financial means to do so. Let's cover a few reasons why banks are in the position they're in, and just a little bit on how you can take advantage of it if you're looking to scale up your banking relationships to get access to capital, to grow a business, to get access to assets at dirt cheap rates in the best terms, so you can grow your portfolio and increase your financial abundance and financial security. Banks are dealing with the fact that interest rates from the Federal Reserve have exponentially grown in the last 16, 18 months or so. This has put a situation in place where the banks are having a squeeze on their margins. They're having to pay customers significantly more on their deposits while turning around and having not as favorable as an inflation in the rate they can charge on lending. So banks usually will charge whatever amount of interest and next to nothing in deposits when the interest rate environment allows them to do so. That's not the case right now. Banks are in a situation due to the Fed's funds rate, Treasury buying rates right now, where they actually have to pay reasonable amounts if they don't want to have deposit flight in their institutions. Speaking of deposit flight, a lot of institutions already have it due to the media around banking crisis. A lot of people's natural instincts were to run out of especially small and regional banks into the arms of these much larger, more stable institutions. That's created a situation where these banks have been depleted of the balances that they usually use to lean against to lend out to customers to create profit. So between the fact that the margins are being squeezed for banks and some of them are experiencing deposit flight for various reasons, but mostly out of the negative media and news that went on earlier this year around banking crisis. You also have to understand a lot of these banks are holding corporate debt. They're holding, other bonds and investments that aren't doing well, and corporate debt and that's being defaulted on, or, there's lags in payment. There's major effects to banks' revenues. There's major effects to banks' internal operations as far as deposits, money lent out. They're also in a situation where they're forced to be more restrictive with their lending because of the interest rate environment we're in, and they can't afford to take the same level of risk. So they can't lend out as much. They're losing deposits. They have smaller or thinner margins between what they're paying in deposits and what they're charging on their loans. And people are borrowing less because of downward pressure in the economy and the interest rate situation. People are choosing or are not in position to borrow like they were not that long ago. All of this is pulling together to be the perfect storm where banks are in a tough situation where they have to really work hard to entice quality individuals to maintain and expand or initiate or launch banking relationships, substantive banking relationships, in order to be able to keep themselves in a comfortable position or at least survive the economic circumstances right now. What does that look like? Well, they have to start putting out various promotions. They have to start working harder to retain the business that they have. This is where you come in if you have either great income, you have great deposits, or you have a combination of such and you have borrowing capacity. Because again, the banks need your deposits, they need your inflows of capital to lend out. And if you can bring that into an institution, and also if you're a qualified borrower and can also borrow on the other end, you're a very, profitable client. You're a valuable client. Now, every representative and every banker, everybody that you sit with in a local branch may not get the value of what I'm teaching you right now. Overall, this is more focused for you to be bonus hunting and to lean in, if you have the financials, on these banks who are going to be desperately looking for quality banking customers and borrowers. For the ones who can qualify and get past the barrier, they're going to be throwing the house at you because they need somebody that they can lean on that's low risk to keep their operation flowing. They need as many of those people as possible. So this is your opportunity to establish yourself at a quality bank or credit union, or at multiple banks and credit union if you have the financials to spread yourself out like that, and get treated better, through promotions and other special offerings and possibly better borrowing terms. Again, if you make the cut, if you can make underwriting, if you can look low risk, then they're probably going to roll out the red carpet for you, because again, they don't have that to do with as many people as they've had in the past. Putting this on your mind, you have to pay attention to the opportunities and not just the negatives when these economic cycles come around. I promise you, there's always opportunity in an economy like this. You just have to know where to look for it. To all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, welcome in. I want you to comment down below and let me know what your financial position looks like and what game plan you have to exercise these banks who are in a vulnerable position and what banks you're looking to target. If you want to learn more about myself, go down in the description below, work your way to the About section of the channel, and of course, subscribe, like, and share this with anyone you think that can get value from it. Other than that, I want y'all to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.